What's going on, guys, and welcome to Who to Sign For. Now in this series I'm giving you my recommendations on what players to sign for a specific team in career mode. Before we go on, I will say that the signings you'll see aren't designed to be realistic, and the player ratings and potentials of the players may vary depending on what database you're using and how they perform for you during the season. Obviously, you don't have to follow all the tips. This is really just a set of guidelines to give you a hand if you're stuck for ideas and want some suggestions on what players you could sign for a certain club. This is mainly aimed at those of you out there who may be new to the game and just need a little bit of advice, or for those of you out there who just want a few recommendations on what players to sign for a team that you may be using in career mode this year. And in today's episode of Who to Sign For, guys, I know, it's been a long time coming. Finally, I hear your comments. Here we go. MLS team. Yep, first time I've used an MLS team, and we're going to take over LAFC. I thought it'd be the most fitting of the lot. Yes, LAFC, newly founded not too long ago, one of the highest rated teams in the MLS, of course, in the fabulous city of Los Angeles, and one of the higher rated teams in the MLS too. Now, LAFC, Los Angeles FC, they're a 3.5-star team, and their starting budget for an MLS side is really good as well. You got around 30 million to play with in season one, maybe a little bit less than that, but around 30 million season one. That's a lot of money for an MLS team. And again, they're a 3.5-star team. They've got some decent talents, not too bad whatsoever, but it's certainly a team which I would say if you wanna dominate the MLS, then it certainly can improve and it can get better as well. The one thing I like about LAFC though is, well, aside from the absolutely fabulous kits, I must say I absolutely love both home and away kits with LAFC. The one thing I like about them is they haven't got a single player out of contract at the end of the season. Yeah, in the first season with Los Angeles, not a single player has his deal up come the end of the year. Yep, you haven't got to worry about any contracts whatsoever. It's totally fine, and as you'll notice, it's a really young team. It's very, very young. Lots of players in their teens or their early to mid-20s. I think they've only got 2 players in their 30s. And those are players that I've put on the transfer list. And that includes, I know, you're going to be sitting there thinking, really? You're going to sell the highest rated player in the team, one of the highest rated players in the MLS? Yes, I am. Carlos Vela. I would indeed put the Mexican on the transfer list. A bit of a legend of the game, Carlos Vela, but I would recommend selling him. Club captain, highest rated player, 81 overall, but crucially, 31 years old. Why is that important, Doxy Boy? I hear you ask. Simple. Going to decline from the very first season. That means his valuation is going to drop year after year. You'll be able to get less and less money for him. My advice? Sell him. In the very first season, sell and look to replace him with someone younger. You can get around 25 mil for the guy, and that's a really solid fee for a 31-year-old. In the end, we negotiated a £23.5 million deal with Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool, and he's off to Anfield for £23.5 million. He could definitely still cut it in the Premier League or a top European league, Carlos Vela. That's what's going to happen in this save. We sold into the Reds for £23.5 million, and we sold our starting striker, Arango, as well for £6.5 million. So that raised our budget to over £50 million. And again, with Los Angeles FC, I would definitely say, whilst you have a couple of decent-ish young talents here, it's really important to get players that are good enough for the first team now, but also have the potential for the future as well. Why is that? Well, in the first season with LAFC, you've asked to win the domestic double. You've got to win the Open Cup, which is the American Cup, and you've got to win the MLS too. Every single season you're with Los Angeles, you'll be asked to win the double. Every single season. You will be asked to win both trophies available. So that means, from the very get-go, you're in win now mode, but you're also in win indefinitely mode. Yes, LAFC are expected to win everything year after year. So because of that, you got to start the rebuild process straight away, immediately, and bring in talents that are good enough to start in this team and also be young enough to have a good future as well. I'd recommend Mihajlovic as your new starting striker. He is a central forward by trade, but you can turn him into a striker, and I think he'd be a really good creative false 9 as well in LAFC's 4-3-3, so definitely worth bringing in as your replacement for Arango at 75 overall. Just 22 years old, he's got 81 potential, and the replacement for Carlos Vela, I mean, is there anyone better suited than this guy? Well, possibly Christian Pulisic, but I'd say in season 1 he's probably outside of your transfer budget. This guy, however, is the perfect, and I mean literal perfect replacement for Carlos Vela. It is, of course, Giovanni Reyna, 18 years old, 77 overall, and you might sit there and think, hang on a second, Doxy Boy, he's 4 ratings lower than Carlos Vela. Yes, but he's also 13 years younger with 87 potential as well. Already he's got 85 dribbling, he's got 4-star skill moves, he's quick, he's got solid stamina, great passer of the ball, fantastic ball control, agility and balance as well, replacing Carlos Vela on that right hand side. I hear you, he's 4 ratings lower, I know that, but again, he's 13 years younger. Vela come the end of season 1 is going to be around 79, 80 overall. Reyna's probably going to be better than that. So in season 1, they're going to they're going to flip. Reyna will be higher rated than Carlos Vela after 1 season. Definitely replace the Mexican with Giovanni. Out of 87 potential, this guy is going to be the MLS legend, no doubt about that. I would recommend a new centre-half with LAFC as well. You'll notice they've got an abundance of centre-backs, Los Angeles. Loads and loads of centre-halves in their team. But I would recommend a new one with higher starting overall. And I think this guy's a brilliant fit as well. Now, it's very rare for me, I recommend a player in their mid to late 20s. But this guy is an exception I would definitely say is worth bringing in. It's John Anthony Brooks of VfL Wolfsburg. Now, he's 27 years old. And you might be thinking, hang on a second. Like, normally you sell players around this age. Why are you signing one? Well, very simple. This guy's entering his prime right now. So he's about to start peaking, which means he can get better than 78 overall. He's incredibly strong. He's tall at 6'4". He's a left-footed centre-half as well. If you can just train up the low pace this guy's got, he's going to be the best centre-half in the MLS in 1 season. This guy's really, really solid, and he's still got 3 or 4 years before he starts to show signs of decline. You can get him for under the valuation because his contract's up come the end of the year. And again, like I said earlier, LAFC are in win now mode. You know, it's not win in the future, but win now. And because of that, you need to sign players that can go right in the first team. We did that with Milivojevic, we did that with Giovanni, Reyna, and we're doing that with John Anthony Brooks as well. He's 78 overall, which means he want to be the highest defender, one of the highest rated defenders in the MLS. And again, at 27 years old, he can still grow a couple of ratings as well. Definitely your new centre-half for LAFC. He'll be an absolute bargain. We also signed Reggie Cannon of Boa Vista. He's at now, Boa Vista as well. 22 years old, 74 rated. Hollingshead would probably be your starting right back from the get-go, but this guy's 3 ratings higher and just 22 years old as well. Reggie Cannon has got 82 potential, so grows 8 ratings. He's in his early 20s right now. This kid is absolutely rapid with high work rates, and again, he can go right in the first team, and he's got 82 potential as well. So we're meeting both of those criteria there of bringing in players that are in win now mode with the quality to win in the first season, but also have the potential for the future as well. And also I'd recommend a new midfielder for LAFC as well. Now they play a 4-3-3, and I do definitely recommend replacing Sanchez, who is 30 years old, with someone younger. That player, Alan Sonora. I love this guy. I've signed him a few times before. He's a brilliant creative player. What I really like about him is he can sit deeper as well, which means that in a 4-3-3, if it's not a 4-3-3 attack with an attacking midfielder, but instead of holding mid and 2 natural CMs, this guy's perfect. 73 rated means he'll go right into the first team in the very first season. He's in his early 20s, and whilst potential is 79, he can definitely get higher than that. I would recommend training him to a CM, changing his position, and in this 4-3-3, he'll be your best playmaker, but good enough to operate and help out on the defensive end as well. Solid pickup for a very low transfer fee. So we swapped Giovanni Reyna from attacking mid to right wing. Again, it'll only take him 2 weeks to learn that position change because he's more than adept playing on the right hand side, just as much as he is through the middle. And the final signing of LAFC was on transfer deadline day. You'll notice when you do an MLS career mode, the season starts in January and it runs through the calendar year. So you don't start in July like you ordinarily would in a European league, for example. The transfer window is only 1 month. You've only got January, and I believe the summer window is July. Correct me if I'm wrong, MLS fans. But yeah, even so, you only got 1 month to work with in transfers, and I definitely would recommend bringing in a backup striker as well. Oh, so we sold Arango, and you know, I would say that Milivojevic should be a starting striker, but America have got some really good young talented forwards. You know, Timothy Weah, for example, as well. But I really would recommend bringing this guy back to the MLS. He was good at Orlando City. He had a highly successful loan spell at Barnsley, at Oakwell as well. West Bromwich Albion decided to sign him, and he's one of the strongest players in the game. That's right, he's got 96 strength. He is so strong. He's not slow either, and he's 6'2". This guy could turn into the complete forward in years to come, and you can either start him in your LAFC team and maximise the potential, which is 82, or have him come off the bench. Totally up to you, but definitely bring him back. If not as your starter, then as your backup striker. Great player. But even so, with LAFC, we sold 2 players, Carlos Vela at 31, and also Arango was sold as well. We, of course, also did decide to swap out Sanchez too, so we made our team a little bit younger, but most crucially, as I said at the top of the episode, this is a win-now team. We needed to improve the first 11, and we did. Mihajlovic now starting up top, Giovanni, Reyna on the right-hand side, better than Carlos Vela in one season, Reggie Cannon at right-back, Sonora through the middle, and John Anthony Brooks, already 78 overall, as your starting centre-half as well. Yes, this LAFC team is in win now and win indefinitely mode as well, so you've got to think big with LAFC. So, as per usual, we would simulate the end of the season. Once again, the season runs midway through and ends around November, December time. So, we would simulate the end of the season, and as you can see, well, we did, of course, make it into the playoffs, as you would expect of LAFC. We made it through Houston Dynamo. We made it through FC Dallas, and we had the MLS final against Orlando City FC. Well, we lost 3-1. It was gutting because, as you'll see, well, I said LAFC are in win now mode, and unfortunately I failed both of my objectives. Yeah, we topped the Western Conference with LAFC. We finished a whopping 10 points clear of FC Dallas in the end. And as we went into the playoffs, we came through the first round, the conference semis, I should say, against Houston Dynamo. Then we did beat FC Dallas again, but unfortunately it was indeed Orlando City FC who ended up winning the MLS this season. So we came up short in the finals, absolutely gutting. And as you'll see, the cup was unfortunately another failure. We were asked to win this, and we managed to get through to the quarterfinals, only to lose to San Jose Earthquakes, who lost the final to Seattle Sounders. So yeah, can't sweep it under the rug, unfortunately. I never do. We failed to hit either of our objectives. We came very close in the MLS, though, going all the way to the final of the playoffs, only to lose to Orlando City of the Eastern Conference. But I have to say, that's not bad, man. Like, getting to the final of the MLS in the first season is not bad whatsoever. We dominated the Western Conference in the league stage as well, so it wasn't terrible. It certainly could have been better, no doubt about that. The cup was the biggest failure of the lot, getting to the quarterfinals, but even so, it could have been worse. Let's just say that, no doubt about it. But also could have been a hell of a lot better too. Not going to try and deny it. But regardless, LAFC, if you're doing an MLS career mode, I definitely give these guys a go, no doubt about it. I think they're quite a fitting team to use. You've got the El Traffico. It's been dubbed by the fans as, due to Los Angeles' traffic problem, El Traffico. I love that. With the long-standing rivalry with the LA Galaxy, who are, of course, the most successful MLS team in history. They're a team which are one of the strongest in the MLS, so it means that from the very first season, you are going to be competing for titles. And as I mentioned earlier, every single season, you'll be expected to win the domestic double. It's definitely a team worth giving a go as well, because they've got a £30 million starting budget, really solid. And if you want to keep Carlos Vela, you can. If not, replace him with Giovanni Reyna, who grew to 82. 82 overall in Season 1. That's why I sold Carlos Vela. He'll be around 79 rated now. Reyna's 82. But it's a great team, though. Really, really lovely kits. I wish their real stadium was in the game as well. EA, if you're listening, can you add some more American stadiums? I think there's only one in the game, isn't there? But even so, definitely worth a go. One of the better MLS teams, and certainly worth a go from the very first season. Gotta be in win now mode. Great challenge and a great rivalry with LA Galaxy. Give these guys a go. But that will end today's episode of Who to Sign For, guys. Big thank you for watching. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you haven't, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Who to Sign For very soon.